Everyone, welcome to another episode from Ampro Engineering, and in this episode we are going to do a little work to the frog. This here is my project Poison Dart. As you can tell, at one time in its life it was a frog. It has borrowed Superfly's wheels. However, it's also got some additional parts here. Let's kind of start at the most interesting aspect of it. We have the rear independent double wishbone suspension. So here on the right, you all know Project Mud Blaster. The suspension components installed on this car in the earlier video are identical to the frog. So if you have a frog that you want to put the double wishbone or V suspension on, there is no difference. It is identical for the frog. So on the bottom, we can see here, we have all the skid plates. This is the brace that comes with the double wishbone kit, and it is identical for the frog. In fact, this entire kit was designed with the frog in mind. Let me explain. I've had a number of people ask me why I didn't make the suspension arms longer and alter the geometry of the hub, and the answer is very, very simple. These tires, let me just pull it off here. These wheels and tires, even though I made these specifically for Superfly, they serve more of a function than they do a form. These are here so that I can get modern tires on a vintage style wheel with a little bit more personality than a lot of these modern kind of domed flat-faced wheels. Here we have a stock Hornet and Frog rear tire and rim. I don't think I could have snagged a worse one. I don't know. Anyway, the point of this whole offset is specifically so that this wheel and tire will fit. You see that? Perfectly clear, no interference, and now, despite the fact that this car's got this custom rear suspension, I can run stock wheels and tires, which I like way better than the more modern style. This is why all of that geometry was done. We have already seen this rear suspension installation, so why am I bringing you here? Well, maybe it's on the belly. Okay, again, we've seen all this installation. So what is new about this frog? Well, I will show you. Here's the frog body that I'm working on here. And just like the Hornet body, the frog body has a particular flaw, which is that the wing is mounted to the Lexan. As you can see here, nothing is mounted to the Lexan anymore. And the reason for that is this. This is a rear frame brace that will allow the wing to bolt to this so that in a rollover, the body is not destroyed. Most importantly, it'll give more rigidity to the rear spoiler. Also, since it requires the rear suspension to be installed, this will also prevent any damage in happening to the rear shock tower. Now, this does require the Ampro double wishbone rear suspension to be installed, and when installing it and having it there during a rollover or a more aggressive accident that you may have, this will help deflect the damage so that it doesn't come into contact with the rear shock tower. Let's go ahead and install this. Now, this is a fairly complicated installation, I'm sad to say. The way this works is you do that. Well, let's go ahead and actually screw it down. So the good news is, here we have the factory frog body mounts, and I'm going to go ahead and thread these in. And maybe I should have showed you first. There's a hole right through here that will simply go in there. It doesn't thread into it, it simply locks it there. Here at the rear, we have some through holes, so you'll just put a machine screw straight through this, straight through the shock tower, and put a nut on the inside. So let's go ahead and place that there. The rear shock tower has a couple of holes in it, which I placed there when I designed it. Now, I had no idea what those holes were for, and very commonly with some of my designs is I will put random holes in places, not because something goes there, but because something might eventually go there. I try and work fourth dimensionally. All right, there that goes. And just get it so that the cotter pin holds straight. And that's it. So that's going to secure this mount up here. At the rear, we are going to get some M3 machine thread screws, so let me grab some. So I'm going to align this and just push the screw straight through. That is a 14 millimeter M3 machine screw. And on the inside, I am going to use a lock nut. Okay, so we'll thread that in just until it stops. It does not have to be very tight. Let me go ahead and put the other one in. Both of these screws have been installed back here. We saw how the body mounts hold the front part of this in. And just to note that there is a little post right here that comes into contact under load with the transmission case, so that if the car does roll over, it doesn't really put much strain on these, or even back here. It does distribute the load on the chassis here, on the shock tower here, and on the transmission as well. So there's a very nice even distribution of the load. Let's take a look at how the body goes on. The body for the most part is pretty simple. We can see that I just cut off the rear. In fact, I cut off a little bit much on this one here. It's about 10 millimeters off of the back. And then for this, what I did, and I don't want to actually give a numeric value of how much, because this is not a genuine Tamiya shell. This is actually Team Blue Groove. And I don't know if they're a little bit different, but basically all I did was place the shell like so, with the back of the shell coming into contact with the wing over here, and just trimmed off little by little. And I think if you just take your time, cut off little by little by little, that your job's going to come out much cleaner because you will have taken your time. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this body on. And there we have it. So basically it fits straight through the body. Again, you do lose a considerable amount of it, but it does fit on straight through the body. And now when you mount your rear wing, the wing will sit further back now. I think the initial mounting point of the wing was right about here. Now I've scooted it back. The reason why we have these 4 mounts is it's just going to make it a little bit stronger. On my Hornet mounts, I only have 2. But it's a little bit tougher on the Hornet because of the space that I have to work with. On the Frog, I had all this room. In fact, I had to do something around the motor because there was no way for the body and this to coexist near the motor, because the body, if you can see it from the profile, comes very, very close to the motor. So this is the wing that I'm going to install. What wing is it? I have no idea. This one here is Team Lozi A813, 113. This wing came as a 10-pack on clearance on eBay for $4. There's 10 of these for $4. They're horrible. This stupid thing here at the bottom, this little lump in there, it's got this weird shape, this wing, but that's the point. I don't care about this wing. I'm going to paint this body very nice, and the wing will be one color. I'm not going to put any thought into neat decals on the wing or neat stripes. This is a consumable. So I'm going to just put it right here. So I would say find a wing that you like, or a wing that you don't like, whichever one works, and place it here. In fact, I'm going to try and do this like so. This is going to be very tough to do on camera, so I may not go that far, but we'll do what we can. I can see here that I kind of want the wing as far back as possible because I think it'll give the car kind of a cool look. So I think I think there is going to work fine. And I'm just going to do this on camera just by eye, but I'm going to shut this off and do it actually by do a little better so you can see it. But basically mark where you want your holes. Go ahead and get your drill out and just drill these 4 holes. Those wing mounts are 5 millimeters in diameter, so I've got a 5 millimeter bit here. Let's go ahead and drill this. There's one. Well, there's the wing installed. I'm going to cut this wing out to give you a better representation of what it actually looks like. Because right now the Frog looks like a front end loader. Let's go ahead and trim that. So I trimmed the wing a little bit here. The edges are a little bit rough. I don't care. Fact of the matter is this wing is going to get some damage, and if I spend time to make it all perfect, I'm not going to want to mess it up. So that's going to be fine for this car here. So that pops in. We're going to get not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 body pins to hold it in place. But This is now going to be infinitely stiffer than the original wing. The body is not going to get destroyed, mainly because you've already destroyed it to put this wing on. So hey, there you go. And there we have it. I'm sure you want to see this thing running, and to be honest, so do I. It is fully operational. I am going to be painting the body coming up pretty soon. I recently was informed of the blue Bush Devil chassis for this, so that is coming in. So there's some additional little upgrades for this car that will be done very, very soon, and then we're going to go take this to the track and show everybody what the Frog was always intended to be. So this will be kind of cool. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Coming very, very soon is part 3 of Superfly 2's build. We'll be going over the front cantilever suspension for the car, so that is going to be awesome. Please subscribe. We've got a lot more nonsense and whatever you would call this coming up. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Ampro Engineering on both. And before you take off, please check out the band Blue Pinto. They are the ones that supply the lovely music for my videos, and a link to their page is in the credits. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.